the bag work about of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? Y'all tuning to the Apartment 5B podcast, hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad up here in effect, but my mom's raised me right, so we're going to start off with ladies first. I got my homegirl Porsha up here. What's going on, miss?
I'm good.
All right, good looking for taking some time out, chopping it up with us tonight. I got my brother Vern out in the ATL. What's good, bro?
Everything is lovely. We're glad to be here.
All right, no doubt. I got Jace, who's been MIA for a hot minute. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? Glad to be back.
All right, we got DJ Rec 1 out of Houston. What's good, bro?
What's going on, man? Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
What's up with Chris Paul taking them little cheap shots, man, and getting a little layup at the end, bro?
Hey, man, I didn't catch the game. I heard he had like 37, but hey, look, I get it how we can right now with Harden out.
Yo, I'll tell you this too. Texas and TCU last night was a dope game. If you ain't see that, double overtime.
Yeah, Texas got a good squad. They just lost one of their point guards.
Yeah, point guards got leukemia, man. That's crazy. Definitely nothing but prayers for dude on that front. That's crazy. And I got my man Tone from Into the Dome. What's going on, fam?
Good, family. Everything's good.
All right, that's what it is. Yo, we gonna jump right into it tonight. Tonight's podcast is gonna be a little bit different, but stay with me. You still gotta deal with hip hop. We talking about love and hip hop tonight, and I know VH1 talking about
that's the devil.
fashion, love, and hip hop, because I know where folk minds will go. But last Friday, I was listening to that Bruno Mars joint, Finesse. I love that joint from when it dropped. I heard Cardi B was on the remix, and I was like, oh, this is whack. This is why I hate music, why you gotta mix these two people together. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I ain't even mad at Cardi's verse, and I don't even like Cardi B.
It got verse down to it, man. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. And the video just takes me back to Living Color, so I think the video puts it over the top. Every time I hear that song, I think about this time me and T had this dance battle in our kitchen. I post a video on Twitter just on some humble stuff. 24 hours later, it's like at 300,000 views. A week later, it's like at 1.8 million views. It's all over the place. People were calling me like, yo, my daughter saw the video. My son saw the video. It's doing the high school rounds. People in high school. Seriously, like my people, kids go to high school is calling like, yo, man, BJ said he saw you on the joint dancing and all his stuff. So, and the thing that's what I was telling people, because I've been retweeting it for a week, and I've said, you know, I'm sure people on my timeline are tired of seeing this video, but what I was sharing with a lot of people is that was there are always going to be good times and bad and challenging times and bad times. You know what I mean? So that right there was a great time for me and T. So I'm retweeting it and all the retweets because there are going to be some times when me and T have some challenges again in the future. And we're going to have to look back at some of these tweets talking about goals and everything else to remind us where we've been through and what we can still go to. But one of the first things that really shocked me about the video, past it doing so many numbers, was so many people saying this is what they want. You know what I mean? I think that was like wow. You know, people are like, you know, I'm gonna talk about some of my favorite quotes, but the second thing that shocked me the most was how many dudes were talking about this is what I want. Like one dude said something to the extent like, I can't wait to meet somebody's daughter and look at her the way dude is looking at his wife. You know what I mean? And, you know, you seldomly hear dudes talking like that, you know, out loud at least. You know, maybe they talk like that in their room to themselves, or when they pray to God in church and they did something wrong. And they like, God, if you get me out of this one more time. You seldomly don't hear dudes saying stuff like that openly, especially on those social media. You know what I mean? But some of my favorite tweets was one dude said this: change my mind, love exists. People were saying goals ain't even the right word for this. It's the best video I've ever seen. One person said, been seeing this video kill dance battle and his wife on my timeline for a week and I still love it each time. Don't mean to be dramatic, but this is the coolest shit I've ever seen. No gold shit. No gold shit that you see will ever compare to this. And then a dude said, damn it, I'm right back in the wanting to be in love again. You know what I mean? And that we seldomly again don't hear dudes talking like that. So the funny thing is, so me and Porsha was talking, and then one of my other homegirls was talking, and I was like, yo, you know, everybody who I do the show with, they either married, engaged, you know. I think Nick is the only one who's not like married or engaged. And she was shocked. Like, you mean all y'all dudes up there talking about hip hop and all this cool shit every week, and y'all married? You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I understand us hip hop dudes, I guess we the scum of the earth. We, you know, we don't marry nobody. We just, you know, call you wifey, whatever like that. And, you know, so we might as well get married. If we do get married, it's like we got beat in the head. But I was like, yeah. And then Porsha reached out and we was talking. I was like, yo, this would be a dope time to do a show about, you know, loving hip hop and how you can still have all these records and make beats and do all this other cool stuff that we do and still be married with a wife and kid. But Porsha, there was a lot of people who saying things like, oh, I'm seeing this video, I want to marry my best friend. You said something about that. And we didn't talk about it because I wanted to really get it from you tonight. So what did you mean, or how did you take it when people was like, yo, you know, I want to marry my best friend?
Well, I mean, we've heard this all the time, right? Like, oh, I think I've seen it on Twitter where people will be like, oh, that dude you friend zoned, your best friend you friend zoned, like that's the dude you should be marrying, that kind of thing. And then when I saw your video and people were like, this is why you have to marry your best friend. And then it got me to thinking, like, what do people mean when they say like marry your best friend? Because I feel like maybe I have a totally different definition of what that means. So that's when I approached Kill and I was like, yeah, like we should talk about what does that look like? What does that mean? Because for me, I don't think a dude or like a husband and a wife should be best friends in the definition that we are all accustomed to knowing. Like that's just me. I don't think that's what a man's role is for their wife or partner, and I don't think that's what the woman's role is for their husband or partner. So that's where it all came from. Like, so for me, I guess would be like, yeah, like, you know, vibe like best friends and be able to hang out, like show that you're best friends, but not really be best friends like that. But that's just me. I'm not married either, so I don't know.
Nah, but that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on, so we can answer some of these questions. My man Bezo just joined. What's going on, B?
What's up, bro? What's good? What's good?
B, I'm gonna introduce you to Porsha. Y'all be talking all the time doing Twitter. It's real life thought.
Recognize the curls.
All right, no doubt. So this is what I'll do. I'll answer that question first, and we can go down the line. I can say this. Me and T have been married going on 18 years, and now I can say, like, we're best friends. When we first got married, we was cool. You know what I mean? But I don't know if I could have called her, like, yo, my best friend, and I don't know if she could have called me her best friend in the mean of that, because my best friend is 9 times out of 10 somebody who loves basketball as much as I do. You know what I mean? Or loves hip hop as much as I do. You know, we was cool. We were there for each other. We held each other down. But I think just throughout the years, I mean, truth be told, if you still married after 18 years, that person probably will be your best friend, because you've lost some friendships during them times. You know, y'all been through some wars together. Y'all been through some wars together. I always tell people, your wife, your wife and your husband, they're the person you're going to go to war with each other. Y'all will beef with each other, and then you will go to war together against other people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's definitely a growth thing. I'm not of the mindset like, yo, like you said, oh, that dude that you curving or that chick that you don't pay no attention to, that's the one you should get with, because 9 times out of 10, there's a reason we curving them, you know, because, you know, they don't fit the mold. So, but that's just my opinion. But Vern, what do you think about that, man?
I've been married for 21 years, and I totally agree. When we got married, we definitely weren't best friends. And one of the reasons being is because I was immature in this respect of I didn't give all of myself to my wife. I mean, I would say the last 5 years has been the best years of our marriage because we broken down all the walls and the barriers and things like, all that rosy stuff. What has strengthened our marriage are the bankruptcies and the foreclosures and raising kids and going through the teenage years when we thought, we was gonna kill our child. Stuff like that has strengthened our bond and made us friends. So that the Twitter stuff, man, those I kind of just chuckle at those goals and all that kind of stuff because that ain't realistic to me. And I want to quote something. It's a Gregory Porter and Layla Hathaway song. It says, "Sometimes lovers can be angry to the end, but it's always the friend inside that make amends." And what I take from that is, a lot of people have this concept that love will just conquer all, and that's true to a degree. But love ain't gonna pay your mortgage, pay the lights and stuff. And I can love somebody and not like them, but if me and my wife are friends, we'll grind through the time when we don't like each other. And because we're friends, and then we'll get back to that love piece. So that's just my little 2 cents on it.
No doubt. Let me get Beezo in on that. Beezo, what you think, good brother?
Well, man, what was the original question?
Just about the whole thing. Well, we were talking about before you jumped on that how that video of me and T battling, is like at 1.8 million views and all these retweets and it's everywhere, and just how people were saying things like, "Yo, I want that," and I was saying what shocked me the most was how many dudes was retweeting this thing like, "Yo, this relationship goals, like, yo, I want to get married, and that's the type of love I want," everything like that. And Porsha was saying a lot of people were talking about how it's like, yeah, this is why you need to marry your best friend or whatever. And she was just questioning, like, do you really, that dude that you not talking to or that chick that you not paying no attention to, that's the one you need to be with. And I was just saying for my story that me and T have grown to be best friends, but it didn't start like that. So I know, how long have you been married, my G?
5 years now. 5 years. But we've been together about 10 years. And it's for me and my best friends. And that's what made us get married, essentially. You know what I'm saying? We had the relationship, we had the ups and downs. It's like when we met, I was in a relationship, so I was 6, but it's like I was creeping around with her, you know what I'm saying? But the bond was just stronger. From the first time we met, in conversation, it was like I hadn't had this type of conversation with a woman in maybe forever, since talking to my mom, to my sister, one of the women in my family type shit. So, it's funny because like I hear like with you and was it Vernon saying that y'all wasn't best friends initially, but for me it was the exact opposite. It's like we were best friends first. Like I literally got the opportunity to marry my best friend. You know what I mean? And for years, my oldest son, I consider my best friend. You know what I mean? Which that relationship is unique also. I was able to school him and treat him like my son, but also as a friend. You know what I'm saying? So that was unique. But my wife, it's crazy, man. Like over the years, I think what's made us stronger has been the difficult times where one of us said did some dumb shit, you know what I'm saying? And you fight through it, because part of what happened for me was like, not only did she become my best friend and vice versa, but she loves my family and I love her family. You know what I mean? It was a point in time where I was probably closer with her younger sister and her older sister than my own physical sister, you know what I'm saying? Because we had our own issues. So you go through hard times, and it's like, if it's not like when you just dating some chick in high school or college, you're messing around with, whatever, I'll go to the next chick that I've been eyeing or whatever, we've been friendly, kind of flirting or whatever. But now it's like, now you're gonna lose a friend, you're gonna lose family that you was close to, you know what I'm saying? And situations, it's like I had never been with a woman where I enjoyed going to spend time with her family. When you going through hard times, it's like, you gotta think about it. You're losing more than just a relationship. You're losing a friend, a companion, your best bud. That was me and my wife, you know what I mean? So that the hard times and the ups and downs, the downs, when we came out of the downs, it's like we grew a little bit higher. You know what I'm saying? That shit helped us strengthen the relationship and made things better. You know what I mean? It's like, and it was times like Money was saying, like, when money is tight and, I lost a job or whatever, and it's like, damn, And I remember having a conversation with my oldest where it's like, I said, you know, it's funny, man. I've been in relationships where, God forbid, my money ain't right because I know the relationship is going to turn sour because of how, I don't want to put it all on the chick, but because of how her mentality was. But I'm like, with me and Stephanie, my wife, I'm like, yo, this shit, it's like if you can survive through the financial shit, you know what I'm saying? You can survive through anything. You know, almost anything. I'm gonna say anything, but because there are some limitations, I'm sure, for everybody. But when you can survive through that, that's that real life shit where, you know, you gotta pay bills, you gotta come together. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know nobody's spot, but I know someone, an ex of mine, who is with this dude, and now they're married. When they went through financial, she turned to her ex for help with finding money, you know, trying to make some money moves. And I'm like, yo, and I said something to her like, yo, how do you know you emasculating your man? That you not coming down and sitting down with him and forming a plan with him. You're turning, leaving him in the dust while he's in the same room with you, sleeping in the same bed, and going to ex-boyfriend of yours, your ex-man, for help with money. I'm like, do you realize what you're doing to that man's ego? You can't do shit like that. You know what I mean? She didn't see it like that. But I'm like, I never had those concerns, man. I never, you know, I'm sure other cats, I work with dudes that would keep their paycheck, with cashing their paycheck at a check cashing spot. This nigga's bringing his paycheck home every week over $1,000 a week, and he's going to a check cashing spot because he don't want to put the money in the account so his wife knows. I'm like, yo, how do you live like that, B? I just don't understand that. So for me, and all the relationships I've been in, it was like the type of person I am in a in the way I am in relationships, I almost had to marry my best friend in order for it to work for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been in them situations where, you know, you like somebody and the, you know, and the other stuff is cool, but it's nothing real, there's nothing tangible. But when it's your friend, man, there's too much on the line, man. You're losing too much, and that makes you fight for it more. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like you got to go out of your way. It's just natural. Like you would fight for one of your mans. You know what I mean? If your man's just going through some shit and you can help him out, you're gonna be there for your mans. Why would you not be that way for your partner, the person you lay in bed with every night, you confide in? She knows things about me that like nobody knows. Shit I went through as a child and shit like that, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And you can't duplicate that, man. And the thought of having to reproduce that in something else and someone else, I just don't see it possible. It just, for me and the person, I just don't see it possible. So I feel hearing this and now knowing that I married my best friend, I feel even luckier now. It's like, damn. And that's 21 and 18 years, and y'all wasn't even best friends. I'm like, wow. It's like, I feel blessed even more now and shit. So congrats to y'all for that. Word up.
And the thing is, too, I think one of the things, and even in doing my marriage coaching, which is my side hustle, is I always tell people, what works for me don't got to work for the next person. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to find what works for your situation. You know, I'm like, what I tell you, what I like, it may not be what your man likes. So you need to go home and ask your man about that. But Tone, real quick, man, what about you? What's your take on the marrying your best friend thing?
Well, you know what? I actually never looked at it like that. But let me say, me personally, I like my wife. So I think a lot of people, you know, you put emphasis on love, and love is cool. Yeah. But you need to like the person you're around. So she is my friend, but I actually like her. So when we go through our ups and downs, we can go in another room. I go watch the NBA in another room. She can go watch Love and Hip Hop downstairs, whatever. Because we like each other, we'll get over in a kind of little rift. Because sometimes you can love somebody, you start hating them. Mm-hmm. Somebody, you can go through a little struggle, but we like each other, so we're gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. So she is my friend. But you know, I got married in my 30s, so I'm a little later in the game than some of you guys. So I came in with a full life of my quote unquote best friend. She had her best friends, and we kind of combined all that together. You know, and then her family, my family are real cool. And so like my man said earlier, ain't nothing better than having that bond with your significant other's family, because trust me, that can affect the relationship.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? I'm treated very well by her family and vice versa, and that matters. You know what I mean? So in essence, we are friends. I never put the best thing in. I never thought that deep into it. But I like my wife. Even when I don't like her, I like her. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, for me, that makes a difference, because you're gonna go through challenges, but you know, liking somebody is the blueprint, the foundation of the relationship.
Right.
To another level. But if you like, I have family members that I love, but I don't like them. So I'll see you at the next graduation, the next funeral, God forbid, the next family, cookout, whatever. But I don't really like you like that. I don't rock with you like that. But I love you because we blood. You know what I'm saying? So love can sometimes be, I don't want to say overrated, but I think that liking and appreciating somebody is even more important, man. So that's kind of the way I look at the situation.
Can I just add something to what he just said? Because you hit something on the head there, and I've had this conversation with my wife, man, about love. And what you said, love is an emotion for people. Like you meet women, or I've met women that they're in love with the idea of, you know what I mean?
Bingo.
The idea, all that other stuff, you know what I mean? But there was an episode of the Cosby Show back in the day when Bill Cosby was talking about his kids. And I forget who he was talking to, but he said, I like them. And it's like back then, I didn't have kids back then and all, I wasn't married, nothing. But it hit me like, damn, that's kind of ill, like, because there is a huge difference. So like you said, I can love a family, like I love my sister to death, but sometimes I don't like her monkey ass, man. She get on my damn nerves. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be around her and shit like that. But I love her to the death, you know what I'm saying? But love is like, it's an emotion, man. And, it's funny because one time my wife said to me, like, because I have a knack when I'm upset about something that I compartmentalize it in my mind. And sometimes I break it down too much and I overthink it and I let it linger too long. And that's how I was early in the relationship, but I've gotten a lot better with that. And she said to me, like, well, then how come sometimes when you're upset, you're so distant? And I was like, well, it's not sunny every day. Some days it's rainy. Some days it's a light downpour. Some days it's torrential down. Eventually, the clouds disperse and the sun comes back out again. I'm like, and relationships and all that is the same kind of way. It's not going to be, every day sunshine and real, just it's so beautiful. There's going to be ups and downs, and you have to be prepared and understand that there will be some downtimes. And if you're not willing to fight through that and see your way through that, then you're wasting you and your partner's time. You have to be prepared for the fact that you're not going to always agree. You're going to get on these nerves. She's going to get her. And that's okay. That's normal. It's the same thing you go through with your kids. Sometimes your kids piss you off, but at the end of the day, you put them to bed, you give them that kiss, you love them. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't change how you feel about them in the big picture.
Hey, DJ Rack One, what about you, man?
Oh, man. Me and my wife, we've been together, what's this, 2018? Shit. 18 years, man. I've been with my wife 18 years. We did not start out as best friends. It's funny because hip hop is what brought us together. I was DJing a party and she needed somebody. She couldn't get in, and she knew me. And I pretty much had to halfway shut the party down. I threw on a house song so I could go upstairs and find out who the fuck was trying to get in this party. While the bouncers kept coming to me like, "Yo, somebody is not leaving until they see you." We didn't start out as best friends, but after 18 years, like that's my ride or die. Sure. Same here. Like if something pops off, I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm gonna load my thing.
Oh yeah,
and I'm gonna be there. I've had to do that. It is not. Somebody said it earlier. It's romanticized. Like the video, people don't understand, Kill, that you and T have taken time, effort. Things have happened in those years for you guys to have that bond, and they just see that moment.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's all they know. They don't know you. They don't know Nate. They don't know T. So they see that, and that's the end goal. The problem is people don't understand that we have all worked years to get to that point.
Yes, sir.
It is not meet somebody, oh shit, goals. It don't work. So if you're going into it thinking that what you see is what it's gonna be at the jump, not gonna happen. You have to go into it with a mentality that, okay, this person has the same goals that I have starting out. They want the same things I want or something similar, and we can work together to get to that point. Kids are gonna come in, it's gonna throw you off because kids take all your time. I don't care what you say.
Your money.
Take all your time. I mean, everybody hit the nail on the head. Sometimes we don't like our kids, but we love them. Same with your significant other. There's days I can't stand my wife, but that's my ride or die. I love my wife. I would not trade her for nobody. I'm sorry. Thick Rihanna could walk in the house right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I have to show her the door.
That's right. That's right.
And Thick Rihanna's a monster. But
That's only good for an hour. So,
hey, Thick Rihanna's a monster. But that's
Big
not gonna happen. It didn't start like that, man. Me and my wife built the relationship that we had. And if people go into it willing to build something that cannot be broken, we'll be all right.
Yes, sir. Hey, Rick, to your point too with the Thick Rihanna, Thick Rihanna see you in your glory, but she wasn't there when you was going.
Hey, my man said it. You wasn't with me when I was shooting in the gym.
That's it. Yeah.
You wasn't with me when I was shooting in the gym. So you have to be willing to build that. If you ain't willing to put in the time and sit and have grays, and have grands and sit back and reminisce on the bad times when you in that good, when you be like, yo, we was tripping up a bullshit. If you ain't willing to do that, you might as well go ahead and call it a day, fam. Because it's not gonna work. You can't go into this. This is life. This is not for play, as Cat Williams say. This is life. So you gotta take it as serious like that. You can't just go into it like, yeah, I'm just gonna find me, the next red bone shorty that run up in. No. Because Kill said it earlier. That might not be what's good for you.
Right. No doubt. Jace, what about you, good brother?
Prior to meeting my wife, I had been in a relationship for 5 years. And that was probably the best thing that happened to me, was that relationship failing, because it really made me step back and analyze who I was as an individual. What do I bring to the table? I really had to step back and know who the hell I am. What is it that I want before I can go and be with somebody else? If you don't really know who you are, have knowledge of yourself, then how can you expect to make somebody else happy or for them to make you happy? How do you convey that? How do you communicate that? So that's first thing. Before you go to be with anybody else, you got to be right with yourself. You got to be real with yourself. You have to be, and then going in, this is what I was getting ready to say. This is something I say to my wife all the time, because she always comes to me with other people's issues. And a lot of times it's communication. Outside of finances, it's just being able to communicate with that person, be honest. And one of my biggest sayings is people are quick to get naked with someone, but won't be naked with someone. Think about that. Yeah. So going in, my wife was a close friend, but she wasn't my best friend. And I say she wasn't my best friend because we weren't battle tested. You find out when it gets thick really quick who is and who isn't with you. We always had strong communication, but that was partially her fault. I will honestly say this, because my wife made me wait. I'm grateful for that. A lot of guys ain't really into that, but by her making me wait, I really got to know who she was as a person. So my judgment was not clouded. There was nothing else going on. I know me, right? So I got to really know who she was, and I really liked her. Likability, like everybody up here has already else said. I really liked her on top of loving her. Being in love is one thing, but loving someone is totally different. It's work. Not necessarily hard work all the time, but it is work. You have to put an effort into loving someone. It is not easy. It can be easier. It doesn't always have to be hard work, but it's not easy. Yeah, man, my wife has had to come get me out of jail. I've done dumb shit before, and we've made it through. A lot of times it's not necessarily what's going on between the two of us, but it's outside forces that come in and have an effect on one of you or on the pair of you. If you're not cognizant of that and you're not talking about it and trying to figure out how to work through it, then that can be a problem. One thing I've also learned is that I can't, and a lot of men we already know this, but controlling your temper, your emotions, being rational, because, well, in my relationship, maybe not for everyone else, but my wife is very emotional. Women can be emotional. Not stereotyping Porsha, I'm just saying.
Oh no, I agree with you. Women are emotional. I completely agree with that.
Another one of my favorite sayings in life is, as the head goes, so does the body. And man, if you really lead in your household, you're really the head of the household, everybody's gonna follow you. A dog's head moves, his ass is moving as well, right? So if we're not right, how can we expect somebody to follow us?
Did you just call my wife head? I'm just
no, like head body.
I'm just making sure you
got a dog. You got a dog. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm clearing it up for other people. I know what you meant, but somebody go one way like, this nigga just called me an ass. I mess with you now. Yeah. I feel you. And one of the things, Jace, I think that you said that was dope was it's all how we define best friend too. You know, my best friend Rob, we've been cool for 35 years. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you got some people who will meet somebody on, and I'm teaching this to Nate, just jump rope with somebody, don't make them your friend. You know what I mean? Like, so it may take my best friend, who really is my best friend, 15 years to even get that title.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's all those things. But I mean, I think, like I said earlier, it affects everybody in different ways. It's a blessing to know, because for me doing marriage coaching, I have about 15. I just found out today, cut my man's hair, 16 couples going through divorce right now. You know what I mean? 16. You know, and number keeps rising. Like I said, I just found out today one of my close people is going through a divorce. He ain't even tell me yet. Because everybody thinks, because I'm the marriage counselor, I'm going to try and talk them out of it. I ain't gonna, if you want to get divorced, I'm going to tell you some things. I can't talk nobody out of doing nothing. You know what I mean? But they know don't even come to me. So the dope thing is to see all these people up here prayerfully, you know, people watching or getting something. Porsha, prayerfully, you're hearing some good stuff too. And then I also want to talk about the thing that I always say that's hardest about marriage is that nobody teaches you how to be in a relationship. You know, all the other things we do in life, if you decide you want to be an engineer, psychologist, I don't care if you want to be a mechanic, whatever, electrician, whatever you want to do, you got to learn how to do that. You got to go to some type of class or get somebody to show you. And with relationships, you kind of just get thrown in them. You know what I mean? Like, my mom's never said, like, this is what you do. And, like, I'm trying to do that for Nay. Like, I'm taking Nay out on dates now. Like, look, this is how a boy is supposed to treat you. This is what he's supposed to do, and all these things. And most of us aren't taught that. Like Bezos said, if you back in the day and you kicking it with a shorty and things don't start working out, what do? You break up. You know what I mean? Now, all of a sudden, you married, things ain't working out. Now, you don't know what to do because you've never really been through anything like that. You know what I mean? Now, let me ask this question. Porsha, you good? You have a question? Because I know you said you was going to throw stuff in from time to time.
No, not yet. I mean, you guys have so much insight. It's crazy. Like, I'm just trying to, like, take it all in. You guys are so great at articulating experiences. So it's awesome.
All right, no doubt. If you got a question, just Brody us out the way and get your question.
Sure.
My next question was because my other homegirl had asked me this, and it was like, you know, Kill, what, you know, growing up, like, what made you want to get married? Like, did hip hop play any influence in that? Because I think everybody, well, she was shocked that we all were married, because I guess with hip hop, you know, you hear about it being such derogatory music, especially towards women, especially 90s hip hop with your NWA and your bitch this, ho that, Cool G rap, everything like that. And I told Shorty, for me, I'll never forget this. I was on South Street in Philly, like back in 93, 94. And I was at Tower Books and I was reading this rap magazine, and it said Ali Shaheed Muhammad from Tribe Called Quest got married. And I was like, oh shit, rappers get married? Like, yo, I didn't know that was cool. Like, you know, you could be a rapper and get married, because this is something that rappers don't talk about. You know what I mean? Like, no rapper, maybe outside Fonte or one, you know, couple out of the millions actually talks about being married. You know what I mean? Or having kids. I think the closest we got to having kids was Miss Jackson by Outkast, you know, or Slick Rick, It's a Boy. You know what I mean? Like, you really don't have rappers really talking about their life. So for me, hip hop really didn't play a part in it. But I think for me growing up, my parents got divorced when I was in first grade, and having to deal with meeting mom's new boyfriends and dad's new girlfriends, and then me and one of my dad's girlfriend's son got real cool. He's like brothers. I went over his crib one week and he was like, oh, no, we broke up. And I'm like, damn, my nigga, like, yo, I just had a dude that I was riding with. Now he going. Like, and same stuff what happened with mom. So I knew for me growing up, like, I really wanted to have that family, because I felt like I really didn't have that growing up. Vern, what's something that made you want to get married in a time when most black men don't want to get married?
Kind of to your point, my parents stayed together till I was married.
Okay.
But their relationship was the opposite of what I wanted. Always arguing about, not physical, but always arguing about money and things of that nature. So I wanted the exact opposite of that. Me and my sisters feared my dad. We've reconciled since then. We play golf and do all kind of stuff now. But we feared my dad. So I always said that I want a happy family, a happy marriage, and my kids for us to be cool. I mean, me and my daughter talk 20 times a day. She's in college and things of that nature. my oldest daughter, we're pretty cool. She was 5 when me and my wife got married, and now I have a grandson with her. So what wanted me to the reason why I wanted to be married and have a family is because I wanted to not duplicate what I had.
Okay, no doubt, no doubt. Jace, what about you, man?
Honestly, man, I didn't want to get married. And I grew. My parents are still married to this day. It was 39 years this past Christmas. I was selfish. Again, I know who I am, right? But my wife made me change, and it wasn't her making me change, but she made me more aware of other things. So, and then also having a good blueprint. My father and I haven't had a lot of relationship conversations, but he was a good image to follow. I had a good starting point just from being around him. Had a good frame of reference. But initially, I never really wanted to be married. I really kind of wanted to just be by myself, travel light. But it's cool being at home.
Yes.
Now, what about you, Rec One?
Man, Jace hit the nail on the head. I was not trying to get married. I ran from it, and my wife showed me some things. And then when I realized what it was like, wow, I can actually change my family dynamic. Both my mother and my father have been married 3 times. And, I come from a military family. Like, everyone in my family's been in the military. I'm pretty sure people hear the rumors about military, this, that, and the third, and that's not always the case. And I wanted to change that within my family dynamic. Having step brothers and step sisters and half brothers and half sisters. I didn't want that for my kids, man. I wanted my kids to be like, my mom and dad are at my wedding married. That's not hasn't happened, honestly, as I'm thinking, in my whole family. Like, nobody stayed married, nobody stayed together. There's half, there's this, there's that, and the third. I've never been to a family reunion. As a Black person, I feel some kind of way about that. You laughing.
I'm saying I'm sure you do.
And when I look at my father's side of the family, my father is Jamaican. I have family in Jamaica. I have family in England. I have so much family that I have not had the privilege to meet because of mistakes, broken marriages, secrets, things of that nature. I don't want that for my family. So after, having these discussions with my wife, so you know what? We're going to go hard. And we've been doing that ever since, I was like Jace. I was okay being dolo. I was good with that. But after looking at it and seeing it for what it was, I was like, oh, no, this is going to be dope. This is going to be real dope. But that's how it started.
All right, what's up with you, Tom?
Man, to be honest, like the 2 brothers said, man, marriage is like the last thing on my mind, to be honest. I mean, I enjoyed being single. I enjoyed dating. I was doing pretty well financially at the time, so I traveled a lot. I just didn't think about it. And as I dated, nothing really stuck. And truthfully, when I met my wife, it just felt right. Not to sound corny or cliche or anything like that, but it felt right, man. 6 months later, I was actually going to marry me. You know what I'm saying? This is that, and my family couldn't believe. They're like, Tone, you run them streets. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, man, this is right. You know what I'm saying? And I don't regret it one bit, but that's just kind of how it happened, man. It was kind of organic like that. Met them, felt right, build a life together.
All right. What about you, Big?
It's funny, man. Like, listening to all y'all shit, I mean, I'm sure you already know, kid, I was not thinking about marriage.
Yeah.
That was like, I made a point of indicating and letting it be known marriage is for suckers. I ain't never get married. You got your damn mind. You say all type of curse. Do not come out talking about marriage. You got your damn mind. So, and it's funny because like my mother and father split. I think it's like 6, 7 years old, something like that. My only 2 memories of living with my pops was the day he was like sitting on the couch like, yo, I can't do it. I got to get out. And the day he left. That's the only pops. And he was with who was the chick he was cheating on my mom's with. He ended up being with her for like 30 some odd years and never got married. And they was always together. So for me, I'm like, my moms and pops got together, got married and hated each other. My pops ended up with somebody. They never got married, and they've been together for decades. So why get married? I don't need that shit. My uncle over here done got 3, 4, 5 wives and shit. Like, I don't want that bullshit. So it's like, well, thinking about it, it was funny because, like, I think Jay said it about having them type of convos with my pops. My pops was never, all the jewels I got was either like old school cats in my hood or one of my uncles or my older cousins put me on to different things. And my pops never blessed me with them type of jewels. But it was one day we were on our way back from Baltimore to see the kids or whatever. And I'm in a car with him and I'm telling him about my wife and this other chick. And this chick was bad and we had a great relationship and all this other bullshit. But I'm telling my pops, like, yo, I don't know what I should do, man. I'm like, I really, really, really dig this chick. And I'm like, but for the first time, it's like for every other reason I ever mess with any other chick, is why I want to be with her. I'm like, we have conversations, we just talk. There's no awkward silence. Like, we just sit in the crib and watch a movie and laugh and joke about it. We'll go out to get something to eat. Like, I'll do things with her that's just so trivial and mundane, but end up feeling so uplifting and so good. And I'm like, that's it. All the other shit is that cosmetic stuff.
Yeah.
But this is regular life shit, and I'm finding enjoyment out of regular life shit with this woman. And my pops was like, well, so what are you waiting for? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, that sounds like the person that you're supposed to be with then. He's like, what do you think me and, now my stepmother, now they actually did get married a few years ago. He's like, how do you think we've lasted this long? He's like, it wasn't because of all that other, superficial stuff. It's like, because I could just walk around in my robe, drawers, scratching my belly and be comfortable and be happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and when you have that, that's the real shit. The conversation, the communication, that's the real shit, man. All the great sex and wild shit and taking vacations together. Yeah, that's all nice. And you could do all that shit with your wife. You know what I'm saying? And then some. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what I'm saying, like the thick Rihanna thing. It's like, yeah, that shit is good for an hour or two. Then it's back to reality. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, and it ain't gonna be thick Rihanna. Eventually, it's gonna be chubby Rihanna and just she ain't no more Rihanna. You know
Big Rihanna open her mouth when you
like,
get tired of her.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, nah, you got something real, but it's like I didn't come to a conclusion like, you know what, B, it's time to get married. It was straight up osmosis of being with somebody enough and having a real enough relationship where if it was called swashbuckling, we would have got swashbuckled together. You can put whatever name you want on it. You know what I'm saying? It was about being with the person that I feel my best with. You know what I'm saying? I feel uplifted when I'm with her. Right. So whatever name you want to call it, I just wanted to be that with her. And it just so happened that word is marriage. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like, oh yeah, I gotta get married and we're gonna go to the church. No, none of that. I mean, because I'm not a religious person anyway, but it's funny, got married in January. And I think it was January, I know it was January 31st.
I'm like, come on, though.
No, but it was 65 degrees outside. And we went down to the courthouse to get the joint. And it was like, we told our family members literally like a day or two before. I got cousins came in from Philadelphia. It was like mad people showed up. They had a gazebo outside the courthouse. It's 65 degrees in January. We out there, I'm out there just my suit, no coats, taking, it was like, yo, somebody just started, y'all getting married and just open the sky. It was a beautiful day in January. Literally, it was 60-some degrees in January. We got married outside in January. So it was like, everything was like, come on, man. You know what I mean? What more signs does the person need? You know what I mean? So I never came to a point like, oh, I got to get married. It just happened that way, man. It just felt right. You know what I mean? Just had to make it happen.
All right. That's what it is. Little things here for folk watching. One of the biggest things my pastor saw me when we was doing premarital counseling at the church was, what is the most important thing in marriage? We talked about love. We talked about all this great stuff. The word we didn't use was commitment. You know what I mean? And, he was like, look, there's going to be a time when you ain't going to love Tanya. And I felt some kind of way that the pastor said that. You know what I mean? I'm like, you don't know my love for this woman. My love for this woman embodies everything about her. I'm always love her. You don't know me. You don't know my spirit. But again, of course, 2 months later, we were about to kill each other. So I understood what he meant very quickly. But that's the thing that we're not taught. We think everything is about love. We think everything is about fun because that's what relationships are. Chris Rock said it best. If you ain't eating and fucking, you really ain't got no relationship. Like, that's really all y'all do. You eat, you have sex. That's really the joke. You know, anything else just comes in between. You eat, you do this, and it's not like that with marriage because it's just to another level. And I always give people the analogy of the NCAA to the NBA. You have a lot of people who are all-star ballers in college. You know, they all-American, coming in from high school all-Americans. Then they get to the league and they ain't nothing. You know, whereas you can have a lot of people who stay in relationships 10, 12, 15 years, get married, be divorced in 3 months. I had a friend who did that. They was together for 10 years, got married, got divorced in like 3 months. You know what I mean? And everybody like, well, why? People who don't watch sports will ask me, well, why the people in college, y'all playing the same basketball, right? I mean, yeah, the 3-point line a little further out, but I'm like, the level of the talent level is edged up. You know what I mean? And I had to explain this to one of my homegirls. You know, she didn't realize that her expectation of her boyfriend at the time was going to go up now that it was her husband. You know, it was like, because he was coming to me like, yo, Kill, man, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm doing this better. I'm doing that better. And she was just like, yeah, that was cool for when you was my boyfriend, but you my husband now. Like, you know what I mean? And he didn't understand that. You know what I mean? She didn't understand that. So even when I'm doing premarital counseling with couples, I'm like, what are your expectations of him when he becomes your husband? Yeah. You know what I mean? Because some people will be like, oh, she tricked me. Shorty didn't trick him. She just didn't realize herself that the level was going to go up. When you go to the NBA, you have to work out more than you did in college. That's just a fact. You know what I mean? But you may not be thinking that. You may be thinking I was the best player in the NCAA. I could keep doing the exact same thing I do when I get to the league. No, you can't. Because the competition is bigger, stronger, and that's why you see cats like, people won't even remember this name, who young. Ed O'Bannon was a beast at UCLA. Came to the league and was a bum.
I need New Jersey Nets. I saw plenty.
Wait for the draft pick on that cat.
So, you know, that's one thing. And another thing, here's a funny thing, because I forgot which one of y'all said this, and a comedian said this once, man. I'm telling you, I get more stuff from comedians than I do from any pastor, counselor, anything dealing with marriage. This comedian said, you know why marriage is messed up? Because women grow up as little girls and they watch these Disney movies where they have the princess and the Prince Charming finds her and they're loved, and that's what they're expecting. And then he said, and little boys grow up watching porn. So that's what we expected, some wild chick who gonna be doing some awful wild stuff, and then when we get together, we're both disappointed. We're both looking at each other like, yo, you supposed to be doing this, and you supposed to, and people laugh about it, but trust me, I've been doing marriage coaching with my homegirl, Dr. Raj, who got her PhD over 8 years. You would be shocked at what people expect marriage is going to be. Then when they get there and they realize it's not that, and like Porsha, you made a great point from all those people who watched the videos. Like, and Rex said it too. Y'all don't know what it took to get to that point of happiness. We wasn't having no dance battles our first year. We was having battles, but they wasn't no dance battles. Beach Street battles. We was fighting. You know, doing that, and it takes time. And you gotta be able to put in that work and that commitment to it. So let me ask y'all this, Vern. We all got kids up here. Mm-hmm. What is it? And me and you talk all the time about your daughter. Me and Vern talk so much offline, it's crazy. You know, my wife's like, who is this Vern dude? I'm like, that's my man. We gonna go to ATL. We beat him. But we're always talking about our daughters and everything like that. Vern, talk about, one, how many kids you have, and two, how has music, or how have you infused good hip hop into them? And Bezo, I'm gonna come to you because I love your story about J. Rue with your son. But we're not getting into that. But Vern, talk about how your daughter have you infused good music into her.
All right, if y'all follow me on Instagram, I thought about this video and I posted it today based on this conversation. I was taking her to college for the first time. I'm in the passenger seat. She was driving. My wife and her mom were in the truck behind us, and I'm crying my eyes out, looking out the window so my daughter don't see me. Put on Special Ed, I Got It Made, and she rapping it verbatim, and I was like, yeah. She was raised right. I mean, Christmas, one of her wax finally came in. This finally came in, so she's coming to town this weekend to play Clayton State. So I'm gonna take that to her, man. But hip hop, man. She know Tribe. She know De La. She know some Public Enemy stuff. She know the good stuff and all forms of music, as we've talked about before, man. So just I discovered most of the stuff I discovered from my uncle and my dad, but primarily by myself. So she was my 20-year-old was the first one that I could say, hey man, I got somebody from the ground up, and I could teach her all that I know, all the different things that I learned. And man, you just had me reminiscing, bro. I went back and was just looking through some cards. You was talking about that video that you can use it when the hard times come. And my daughter said, Happy Father's Day to the best dad out there. You may try too hard to be super extra sometimes, but it's the thought that counts. Even through hard times, you kept your chin up and never let me see you stressed. You prepared me in so many ways for this journey I'm about to take in 2 weeks. This is right before she went to school, man. So, man, just stuff like that, bro. Giving her what I always wanted and never got. So, hip hop, if I love it, she loves it. She loves music. She has a great ear. We've talked about this on many podcasts. Different music, but she, man, y'all seen I Think I Love My Wife and how Chris Rock, and I don't know if we want to say it on here, but my daughter definitely does not have in-ears. She loves all kind of music, man. So that's just my love of music and hip hop that I try to infuse on her, man.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Jace? And I mean, I know your kids are still young, but you could raise them up.
Oh, man. My kids listen to everything. The majority of the quality time I get with my kids is when I'm picking them up from school, taking them to school. So that's me spinning stuff, and then them also asking to turn on the radio. My oldest is actually getting into Afrobeat, and it's kind of amazing that she just kind of picked that up on her own without me actually showing anything. So, and then she's also giving me stuff already at 6 years old. Who would have thunk it?
Wow.
And then whenever I'm playing in the basement, man, they always come down and they just naturally pick up the rhythm. That my 2-year-old, my son, he just instinctively is Bob. It blows my mind, man, to see him move the way he moves. He looks like he belongs somewhere like in the 90s with a diaper on. We're working on that though.
I feel you, good brother. What about you, Rec? I apologize. I know, Jace, you got 3 kids. Vern, you got 2?
2 daughters and a grandson, yeah.
Grandson. Rec, what do you have?
I have a son who's going to be 13, and I have a daughter who's going to be 7 in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
My son, all of last year, me and my son spent together because, me having to move to Houston, we had to split the family up. So me and my son was together for a year. So my son really got to get a lesson on DJing and beat making, and he took to it. Now, granted, he likes more of the newer music. I respect that, but he does always have questions as far as like the old school stuff. Who's this? He wants to listen to it. He wants to know who it is. Now, my daughter, I think is going to be a DJ. Every time I'm in here, she comes in here, she grabs a cooler, and she asks me to go ahead and turn the laptop on so she can work on her baby scratches. So I think my daughter is going to be a DJ, or something in music. I don't know what, but she has the bone. My son's more of an artist. He likes to draw. He likes to put things together. He loves music, but I don't know if that's going to be his thing. They know hip hop. Trust and believe, they know it. But my daughter, I think, has the hip hop bone. She's the one who will tell me to, put on, she can't say A Tribe Called Quest, so she'll just say the record with the funny looking guy on the front. She's talking about people's instinctive paths. She's the one that's got the bone. My son, he don't have the bone, I don't think, but my daughter definitely has it. She's gonna be a DJ, I think. But they both will sit here and work on their scratches. So just, as they were young, coming up, playing certain albums for them, it stuck because that's how I was raised. My dad, on a trip from Fort Stewart, Georgia to Brooklyn to take me back to my mother, played Slick Rick the whole ride. So it's just how I was raised, My dad's from Brooklyn, he hip hop to the core, so I have no other way but to raise them that way.
That's what's up. And then the other thing too, B, we need more graph artists. You know what I mean? We always talking about the culture.
Yeah.
So you're some artists. It That's a good thing.
He's really into it, man. For his birthday, I bought him a anime book and a graph book. And you saw the paintings I had last week. He wants to draw a graph picture and actually get it put on one of those canvases. So I mean, I'm a supporting man. He's of the culture, but just of this new age culture. He's so into it. I'm not gonna stop him. As long as he got the foundation, I'm good.
That's it. That's what it is. What about you, Tom?
Well, my little man is 9 years old, so I have to keep the hip hop to a minimum. But with that being said, he loves it. I play a lot of instrumentals. So I have Midnight Marauders instrumental, a lot of Jay Dilla, a lot of Pete Rock. He loves it, man. So I mean, one time I was in the barbershop and I put on some Jay Dilla instrumentals and I recorded it and I put it on Facebook because I mean he was back in the back, he's jamming, he's feeling it, so he, it's in his bones already. So and of course some radio friendly joints he listened to with his mom, and the kids like to dance to it in the house. But I'm getting them in there. I'm gonna turn them on to that real knock, that boom bap. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so he enjoys it, man, and playing like NBA 2K and all that. The soundtrack is hip hop.
Exactly.
So he knows the words. He know about Nas and whoever else will be on the soundtracks to these games over the last couple of years. He know the artists because he plays the video game. You know what I'm saying? So he's invested in the culture, no doubt.
All right. What about you, B? How many you got?
I got more kids than Miss Winans, man. We got five of them. 3 of them is grown in their 20s, and now me and my wife have a little 5-year-old and a 6-month-old. But the story Kill's referring to was my oldest. I forget what year it came out. I guess it was J. Rule's album was 94, 95?
94.
So,
early 94.
The song "The Bitches." I used to play that shit a lot. You know what I mean? With little man in the back seat, in the car seat. The song would come on. He'd be in the back. He would see me, the whole driving. He'd see me. He'd be in his car seat doing this. And those were some of his first words. The bitches. I'm not gonna lie. I was a young knucklehead with a little son. I grew up with my son, so I take full responsibility for that. But when I talk about it with his mother, I'm like, listen, you gotta listen to the lyrics. He's not calling women bitches. He's talking about certain type women, whatever. So my son, my oldest especially, he grew up at a time when I was really, I was young and still out there doing stuff. That's before we did the shit with Lauren and stuff like that. And he was around that shit, around the studio and seeing things and whatnot. But with all my kids, I think the ones we didn't get it quite as much are my twins, my boy and girl twins. They're in their 20s. My daughter has a little girl. They all got a schooling, but I tried to keep it not like a lecture. What I would do is I would just play some shit and I would talk about it. Be silly with it, be fun with it. Show them like this is how we used to dance to this back in the day. Things like that, and I would break down the lyrics and I would explain to them why Rakim is better than Kane and why G-Rap is right there with these cats and why Nas and Jay. I would explain all that shit to them, and then I was showing my daughter the Reminisce Over You video like a couple weeks ago actually, and I'm explaining to her I used to go to that barber shop. I know that street right there. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that cat right there. That's my member. And it's so things like that draw them in. And I took them to my old neighborhood. And see this is where Daddy grew up. This is where right there is where Hev used to live in this house right here. Boom, boom. Pete Rock used to come over here. Boom. So it's like the little things that a kid. It's interesting to them and intrigues them. But like my daughter now and all my kids, it's not just about hip hop though. It's about good music, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like there isn't some good hip hop still being made. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want them to feel like, well, if it's not boom bap, if it's not that style, that it's not good hip hop. My oldest, he's the one that put me on to Kendrick, to J. Cole before when they were just doing mixtapes. He put me on last year or whatever to the cat Sir, the R&B cat. To the dude Khalid or whatever. you know, and I put him on a different artist. You know what I'm saying? And it comes from him knowing my style. And like my youngest daughter now, somebody bought her little boom box for Christmas or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make you a CD from, you know, all her little movies, Trolls and Moana and this and that. I'm like, but look, but until then, yeah, take this. And it's like an old R&B slow jam CD with like Case, Sade, Stevie Wonder, you know, Minnie Riperton. My daughter loves that shit. She says she listens to that more than her Troll CD. But it's because I will admit though, some of these animated movies with all the music, you know, they do covers of old Earth, Wind and Fire and shit like that. I'm in the grocery store, my daughter, she's singing an Earth, Wind and Fire song, and a black woman and her husband come by. They just stop like, he's like, yo, you got great taste in music, young lady. And my daughter doesn't understand what you're talking about. I'm like, you're singing one of the greatest bands in music history right there. And they just happen to recognize that. But saying that to her made her feel good about herself. Like, really? Like, yeah, that's one of the most important. And then I show her Earth, Wind and Fire album covers with the ill, you know, the cover art and, you know, all that shit and everything. You know, Roy Ayers, Everybody Loves the Sunshine. Yo, she loves that song and she knows the artist. She knows Stevie Wonder. She loves Stevie Wonder. She loves Michael Jackson. So it's not just about hip hop. For me, it's about teaching them and showing them and blessing them with just good music so that they have their own ears, so they hear some good shit. And they don't need me to tell them like, yeah, you want to listen. No. They know this is good music because they now have a trained ear for what good music sounds like, whether it's hip hop, classical, classic rock, whatever, R&B. If it's good music, it's good music. And I think there was a gap there, man, where, you know, for us, I don't know about y'all, I just turned 47 yesterday. So I grew up in a household with my moms and my pops are playing Motown and Stevie this and there was probably a time we were real young where you're like, oh, you gotta listen to mom and dad's music. But eventually the good quality music just seeped into your DNA and it didn't matter. That's your mom's and pops. It's just good music. You know what I mean? Stevie Wonder is just good music. Yep. So to me, it's like there's certain things as a parent, you gotta break the cycle. You know what I mean? It's things that like, I think Vernon, you said about how your family relationship was and you didn't want that. So you broke the cycle. You made sure like, when I raise my kids, I'm gonna do this. You know, I had the same way. Like my pops didn't bless me with jewels. So I said, you know what? When I have kids, my mom used to go off the rails when she got mad at me. So I said, you know, when I have kids, I'm gonna listen to them. When they make a mistake, I'm gonna hear them out. I'm not gonna just blow my top. I'm gonna listen to them. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give them respect that they're going to be honest with me and they're gonna tell me the truth. And I'm gonna listen to my kids. So you gotta break the cycle, but you also gotta take the good shit that your parents gave you and reinforce that in your children. Put your spin on it, but bless them with the shit you got blessed with. But break the cycle of the negative shit that we saw, that we experienced from our parents. Like, Kill, when you said about having to meet girlfriends and boyfriends with your mom, that's one thing. When I was dating other chicks, I never, ever brought them around my children. For that simple fact of what you said, Kill, I didn't want them getting close with some chick or her kids or whatever, and then, you know, a few months later, she's gone. You know, I never did that. My son's mother did that shit. You know what I mean? Now he doesn't speak to him anymore. You know what I mean? He almost grew up with them because of the relationship. They're out of his life, and you gotta know, man. Like, be honest with yourself, and it's not, you know, it's not like you're critiquing your parents, but you gotta take the good shit, man. Reinforce that shit, and don't be afraid to be honest about the negative shit your parents did. You know, because there is no book on being a parent. There is no book about being married and all that. Not a real book. You got to live life, you know what I'm saying, and do what you feel is right. But it's about breaking the cycle, the negative shit, and reinforcing the positive shit.
And can I jump in with something? One thing, B, though, that you said, man, I'm sorry, Vern. I'll be real. Go ahead. Just to backtrack, even before you get to parenthood, man, if you grew up in a single parent household, remember how that made you feel. You know, if you saw your parents doing certain things and they went this way, remember that. Remember how that made you feel. Think about that and how you would apply certain things to avoid those steps in your marriage.
Well, it's funny you say that because I grew up in a single home. My mother taught me how to do laundry when I was in elementary school. Taught me how to cook when I was in elementary school. I was a kid and I literally, like 9 years old, I made Thanksgiving dinner for my family one year as like 9, 10-year-old. And I took that shit serious. Like, I'm the only one, I'm the man left in the house. So you know what? I'm gonna cook dinner. My mom's is working. I had an older sister 3 years older than me. I'm the one cooking. Gabby, you do the dishes, you clean up. And every Saturday, I'm going to clean the bathroom and I'm going to clean the kitchen and I'm going to do the cooking. And it was like my mother, when she had to go on business trips for her job, she knew his money for groceries. She knew we were good. And that was always my mother's thing. Like, look, I can't always hold your hand, but I can teach you the tools so that you can walk this journey on your own. And God forbid it ever comes to that. And I did that. I try to do the same for my kids. When they would come to see me, you know, their mothers wash their clothes for them, fold their clothes, calling me, oh, he don't want to fold, he don't want to put his clothes away. I'm like, yo, why are you still doing his laundry? When he's with me, he does his own laundry. I send him to the laundromat with quarters, he does his own laundry. Why are you still washing his clothes? He's 15. He's been doing it for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? But she didn't understand that shit, man. You got to reinforce the positive, man, and break the cycle of negative shit. It's all about that.
My bad, bro. What you gonna say?
To piggyback on something B said, I recently posted this on Instagram that it's important as your kids get to a certain age that you share the awards with them. Because my daughter said something over the Christmas break that really touched my heart. She only knows us in our glory. She don't know the story. I've shared it with her, but my wife, you know, was not so much. So they went off on a girls' trip or whatever and came back. She was like, man, I didn't know that you and mom didn't have sex when we dated for a year, didn't have sex. But then she said, mom also told me some of her dirt. And she said, I never felt closer to her than I do right now. And I always told my wife, man, we put a lot of expectations on our children, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if we share them the warts and then they see, okay, y'all went through this and went through that, and y'all came out on the other side. Yeah, mom dropped it low at Freaknik. That's the Polaroid pictures, and under the bed. Don't just paint the picture that we was in Jesus' lap all our life, because that's gonna set them up for failure. They don't think they can back it from it, man. So a lot of parents want to kind of shield their dirt from their kids. I think you should share it with them.
Yes, 1,000%. You gotta be real with them, man. You gotta share that side of your life with your kids, because if nothing else, it makes you. Sometimes it's like this superhero complex kids will have for their parents. You know what I mean? It's like you set the bar so high, and then when, like, I had a friend who his mother and father were like, drugs are bad, and if you ever catch you doing drugs, and then one day we in his mom's room and he found weed in the crib. I could see the look of total disappointment and disrespect for his parents. Like, how they telling me this shit is so terrible, and here they smoking weed themselves. He lost all respect for them.
That's that whole. I never forget. Rasheed Wallace said it. He said, "I raise my kids, do as I say, not as I do." Yep. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I think people do.
Can't do that, right?
Like Earl was saying, you grow up thinking your parents never have any problems or they perfect. So when you think, oh shit, my moms wouldn't understand what I'm going through right now.
Right.
So you don't go to them. You know what I mean? Yep. So I don't know nothing bad my dad ever did. I'm 43. I've never heard one negative story about this dude. I don't know if he smoked weed, alcohol, whatever. But like Vern was saying, same thing. I share all my dirt with Nay at an age appropriate time.
Right. That's what I tell my kids, like, some shit. I'll tell you about that story right there.
But I think the thing is and with me and with Nay, it was just from the day she was born, I was coming home blasting hip hop. When it was bath time, I'm playing Kane, I'm playing Kid and Play, I'm playing all that old stuff that didn't have no cursing in it. The crib, I don't know if I could scroll up enough, but y'all see I got action figures up there and everything. So for when she was a kid, that would always be her thing, or it's funny, even the J Dilla figures. I got this in the mail. She was like, Daddy, how you get a man made of you? Like, she thought like, well, he got the MP, he got the hat, he got the beard and everything. So this some old ill collector's item right here. This is me showing off. Wow. This is a Bismarck action figure in the cereal box. You got Biz with the ring. You got
is he picking boogies?
He picking boogies. Picking boogies.
Oh my God. Does he have the baby teeth too and shit?
Yo, this is that's classic.
You got the little dolphin teeth and shit.
Then he got the
baby beatboxes too when you do it. So it was always Nate seeing this. It was Nate growing up with picking boogers. There was all those other things. A couple more jewels here. Just want to remind people of one thing that I learned that nobody ever told me. Marriage is a constant renegotiation.
Oh yeah.
And what I mean by that is that I got married at 26. I'm 43. I'm a totally different person than I was at 26, you know. But we a lot of times get married expecting this person not to change. Like, you're this person, you're gonna stay this way forever, but that's not real, you know. So a lot of times we can't renegotiate. You know, when we first got married, I was like, yo, I was a homebody. Then a couple of years, I started writing for a couple of websites. I started going out again. That's a renegotiation time, because maybe my wife married me because I didn't go out. Now all of a sudden I'm like, yo, I'm trying to hang out a little bit. You know what I mean? So you just got to be able to renegotiate that. Another thing with a lot of times, what's up, Jace?
Nah, man. I was just thinking, in the moment you break pattern, it's a problem. We need to
yes, sir.
This discussion. When you break a problem, what are you doing? Where you what's really good?
I'm wearing boxers now.
Yeah. It literally could be anything, but you just got to be able to go back to that commitment thing. And to be honest with you, you know, I know a lot of church folk. Big difference between Christians and church folk. Let me say that first. Church folk hate me because I know it says God don't believe in divorce. I know some people who need to get divorced. Like, you know, let's cut through the crap. Like, y'all need to get divorced before somebody die. Like, seriously. So, you know, seriously, there's some War of the Roses going on out here. So
I was just watching that movie 2 days ago.
I've had friends whose kids have come to them like, can y'all just get the divorce? Like, I'm asking you as a child to remove yourself from the premises before something bad happens. So sometimes you can't renegotiate. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you grow apart. I'm not saying it's the right thing. I'm not saying, but sometimes people do grow apart. And I know people who have stayed in marriages for 15 years miserable. And I'm like, look, why stay somewhere miserable? Like, you can't be the best dad or the best mom you could be miserable, you know, hating life, grunting all the time. And I know for my generation, 43, I felt like my generation was the first generation that really dealt with divorce. You know, back in the 60s and the 50s, you just stayed together, you was just miserable. My generation was the first generation, in my opinion, of I gotta go to my pop house this weekend, or I'm spending the summer with my pop, or I gotta do this and that. And so a lot of us grew up wanting to be like the Cosbys, because like Rex said, there's nobody in my family who's married. You know, they're all divorced. So I couldn't grow up saying, oh, I want to be like Aunt such and such, or I want to be like Uncle. So it was like the Cosby Show. And the funniest thing that my teens told me one day, they said, my teens do not want to get married. They're like, Mr. Kill, I'm never getting married. Marriage is whack. They're like, Kill, you are the only person I know who loves their wife and is committed to their wife. You know what I mean? And it got to the point that I brought Jason, because I'm like, well, yo, you need to meet my man Jace. He's with his wife. They got 3 kids. They see us as like Martians. Like, they're like, y'all ain't real. One of y'all is bang. Somebody cheating on somebody. Like, ain't nobody faithful. Like, they just don't believe in it. And the funniest thing they told me once, they said, Mr. Kill, I don't want to get married because of what Uncle Phil did to Aunt Viv. And I was dumbfounded. I'm like,
oh, wait till you hear. Wait till you hear.
Have anything to do with Aunt Viv. I'm stuck. And the girl she told me, she said, Uncle Phil left the dark skin Aunt Viv for the light skin Aunt Viv. And I was like, you gotta be playing. Like, what do you mean? Like, no. I said no. I was like, time out. I'm like, time out. It's a television show. It was people with the dark skin Aunt Viv, so they recasted her and brought in another actress who, yes, she was light skinned, but Uncle Phil did not divorce her. You know? But that story is, it shows you how a lot of kids, especially kids growing up in predominantly black neighborhoods, and so they literally have to live it through television
images.
So when they turned on the TV and the dark skin Aunt Viv wasn't there and the light skin was, it was like, see what Uncle Phil done did? And it's like, nah. Like, it took me 20 minutes to get them to understand, like, that's just TV, y'all. That's not real.
How old are these kids?
These kids are teenagers, 15, 16. I think Shantae may have been 17 at the time when she said this.
They're not babies,
but
man.
when you don't have anything in house to look on television. I was working with these kids once and I said, yo, who's a good male role model in your life? He was like, probably Kevin Garnett. And I said, that's cool, but by any chance you got anybody who, like, you know yourself? And he was like, a man doing the right thing? He was like, nah. I'm like, not in your family, not in your neighborhood. He was like, nah. So if you don't have that, then what do you have to gravitate to? People who are on TV. You
That's
know,
really sad, man. That's really sad, man.
But and one of the things that I've learned through working with my kids, and this goes back to all these tweets, is that there's a love deficit.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is that when you look at the suicide rate of all these kids, we work with this psychology firm to give our kids, you know, psychologists to talk to. And they were telling me how, and this is a predominantly white part of Virginia, she was saying in her daughter's high school that kids have been killing themselves because what happens is the kid will see all the love that this kid gets once they commit suicide. And they want that love, so then they commit suicide. Even though they won't be here to get that love. And that's how bad it is now.
Damn,
there's a love deficit that you don't feel love from anybody. Take your life and not even be here to receive the love, but you know that that's the only way that you can get the love. One of my homeboys, Fish, one of my best friends, his daughter Taylor, I think she's in 9th, 10th grade. One of her friends in 10th grade jumped in front of a SEPTA train at 5 a.m. to commit suicide. You know, and it goes back to there's a love deficit here. You know what I mean? So we really have to, you know, show, and that's why I want to make this show be more about hip hop. You know, I'm trying to keep hip hop around somewhere, but you know, by us being fathers, sometimes, and I know what happens to me, I live in my bubble because people be like, "Kill, ain't no good black men out here," and I look up and I'm like, "Nah, I got 5 good black men right here in front of me." Yeah. But I live in my bubble, and then I sometimes gotta go back to the projects and remember there ain't no niggas out there that's doing anything positive. You know what I mean?
But Kill, you know what though? I'm not to cut you off, but you know what though? I mean, I know we haven't talked at length about hip hop, but the fact remains that everyone up here, including Porsha, hip hop is a big part of our lives. You know what I mean? For some of my age that was there from the very beginning, hip hop, and I said this, I was having a back and forth with somebody on Twitter recently, and one of y'all jumped in. I forget who, somebody jumped in on the conversation. But it was like, and I tell them like, yo, you understand? I take this hip hop shit serious because I'm tethered to it. You know what I mean? It's like I listen to all these other musics, these other styles, whatever. But hip hop is a part of my DNA. It helped raise me when I was going through hardship and tough times when I was by myself and in the dark place. It was often hip hop that helped me see my way through that shit. You know what I mean? Literally. So even though we're not necessarily talking in depth about hip hop's impact on us, it really is a part of who we are sitting here now. You know what I'm saying? Is hip hop. Regardless of who I listen to G-Rap and Mobb Deep, and those are some gangster ass rappers, but it didn't stop me from one, be loved and, you know what I'm saying, and have beautiful children and a wife and all this love and beautiful things around me. You know what I mean? Without darkness, you don't know the light. Without the light, you don't know the darkness. You know what I'm saying? It's like you need both things, that balance. And real quick, I just want to tell a quick story that I went through just yesterday with my wife. In terms of like, when we talk about going through different ups and downs, man, and about the commitment, I think was the word you used, Kill. But we just got a bunch of pictures from our father that he took of our son and daughter and us one day. And, you know, we were having this kind of back and forth disagreement about taking some pictures down and putting up new pictures. Now, my wife is Dominican, so there's a cultural difference between, like, for her, it's literally like you put up the child's picture when they're 1 year old and you leave that shit up like almost forever. But where I'm from, you put up some pictures, after a while, you take them down, you replace them with newer pictures. So, you know, I'm not seeing that side of it. So I take a picture down of her and her sister, and to replace with my picture of our daughter that my father took, and my wife was, she was bothered by that. And, we got into a little argument, discussion back and forth, and I'm like, well, you don't understand how I feel about it. You don't understand how I feel about it. And then as I thought about it, so I'm like, you know what? I thought back to what she said about how, they put up a picture to the 1 year old, this and that, whatever. And I said, you know what, B? It is more important than it is to me, this picture being up there. So what I did, I dropped off for work. I went after I picked up my daughter from school, and I went to Target and I picked up a new picture frame, and just one picture frame. And I put one of those pictures that my father took in that frame. And then today, when I called up, like, look, when you come home from work, let's go to Target and get some more picture frames. So now I turned something that was an argument between us into a bonding thing where we then are in Target looking at different frames, and we just spent about $80 on picture frames together. You know what I'm saying? Not well, I like this frame, I like this picture. Now we're going to sit down and figure out what pictures to put in what frame and what it's a coming together. So you got to learn how to take things that may have necessarily been, kind of ruffle some feathers and turn it into some positive shit, man. And it just made us stronger. You know what I'm saying? It's just something so simple. But if you want to be hard-headed and stubborn and like you got to have your way, then you're still stuck on that single life mentality, man. You know what I mean? You got to understand when it's two individuals, them two circles come together, and the longer you're together, the closer those same circles come, and eventually merge into one. And that relationship is like a child. You have to nurture it. You have to feed it. You have to give it attention. You have to give it respect and love. It's not just about what you want and all right, I'll let her have her way. Nah, the relationship is its own entity. You have to treat it properly, or it will wither and die away, or it can grow. You know what I mean? You have to look at it like that to me. I mean, that's how I look at the whole marriage scene with me and my wife, man.
All right, you're 100% right there. Real quick.
Well spoken, my brother. Well spoken.
Still good? Are you still good, Porsha? Anything? You got anything?
Well, I was just going to bring it back to hip hop, but it's so not on topic that we were just on, so I feel kind of...
No. Bring this.
Nah, what you
I
got?
was just going to say, like, I think a little while ago, Kill said, like, when he was talking about marriage counseling and the expectations within marriages or relationships in general. And he brought up Disney, and he was like, well, Disney paints this picture, and it's like this whole, and I have the biggest beef with Disney. It's a whole other show, probably like a 10-part show. I can't deal with that. I think Disney should be wiped off. I think you need to be 18 to watch Disney. Like, I don't think Disney's good for kids. But I was also thinking, like, to bring it back to hip hop, the Disney version of hip hop is songs like You're All I Need by Method Man and Mary J, and The Light by Common, and his newest release, like Unfamiliar, where it sort of paints this picture. So like, these are songs that I didn't really look to Disney because it's animation, it's like cartoon and someone's drawing it, and it's movies and on TV. But I'm listening to these songs and I'm like, well, wait, like that's a rapper that I love. Like, I loved Method Man for the majority of my life. And he's sitting and I'm listening to You're All I Need, and I'm like, that's what I want. That's what I want. Like, this is perfect. And then I hear Common's The Light, and all these other songs, and You Got Me with Roots and Erykah Badu, and I'm just sitting there going, like, it does exist in hip hop. This does exist, but where is it? Like, it's like this mine. I don't know. It's like a gold mine somewhere but then you talk about it and people are like, yeah, that shit is so whack. Like, I don't listen to that like corny ass stuff. And I'm like, but it's not corny. It's so good. Like, it's so sweet. This is like sweetheart hip hop. I love it.
Hey, Kill, you know what that is?
Black Shampoo so much.
Kill, that's that Ghost Dini album, Kill.
That's why she like Black Shampoo so much.
That's that Ghost Dini album, Kill.
Before we go to Ghost Dini, before we go to
Ghost Dini album, son.
I'm with you, Porsche, because the funny thing is I just did a mixtape a while ago and called it Love and Hip Hop. And I was telling people, like, you got songs like Got Me Waiting by Heavy D, What's on Your Mind, Eric B. and Rakim, Love by PRT, Renee with the Lost Boys, One Love with, Brown Skin Lady, Black Star, Pass Me by Far Side, Solid Treatment, Mahogany, Teenage Love, and we used to have those hip hop love songs. You know what I mean? That was dope. We did go through a time where every rapper had a slow jam where
it was dope.
Yeah, and everybody had one. B on the strength, Mount Vernon to me had the dopest one with Don't You Know. Heavy D's is like hands down one of my favorite R&B slow jams. You know what I mean? But I don't know where that went. I mean, I think we just got to a point in hip hop where everybody became hard. You know what I mean? I always
another nigga from Mount Vernon tore it up. Man, Puffy put the hip hop in the strip clubs, man.
And it's not just, it's not just the strip clubs, it's that, but then it's also, because I always tell people Illmatic dropped in 94. So Nas, we started hearing about him 92, 93. If Nas would have came out in 90, that nigga Little Brother Jungle would have been his backup dancer. You know what I mean? Instead of him standing on stage with a 40 and a Heineken drunk. Yep. You know what I mean? It's just that phase of hip hop. Once we got to like 92, 93, it really was about how hard you was, what project you was from. Guess what? I ain't know where none of them rappers projects they was from in the 80s. I ain't know what project Kane was from, none of them dudes. But by the time you got to the 90s, you knew Queensbridge. You had to stamp it. You had to stamp Marcy. You had to stamp how hard you was. So you can't be like, yo, I'm from Queensbridge, but yo, I'm gonna make this song about loving you, girl. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like you couldn't do that. You know what I mean? It just didn't fit with your image. You know, Mobb Deep could not have had a song on the Infamous, you know, on some old like girl, I love you. Yo, I'm about to shoot this nigga in his head. But yo, I'm coming over to you.
But Mobb Deep had Hey Love with 112.
I mean,
Played
that
was like 15 years later.
That was later. Nobody cared about Mobb Deep.
You remember what Dave said on Stakes is High. It's like loving in public is against the law because love don't get you through life no more. You know.
Yep.
I mean, they also spoke on, you know, I got questions about your life if you so ready to die.
Ready to die. That's right.
You know,
That's
beard.
Yeah. So I mean, I wish we had more joints like that. That's why I did that mixtape, just to show young and cats that hip hop had love songs that was dope. Truth be told, Got Me Waiting is a top 5 beat rock beat for me. You know what I mean? Like I love
the bass line is crazy.
Yeah, you know, like, that joint is like, I mean, Bonita Applebum. How I mean, you know, so it's not like these hip hop love songs weak. They was dope. You know what I mean? Like,
right. It wasn't like it was just like a throwaway song. Like, yeah, you had some like LL was always
yeah.
I never liked I Need Love, but I understood its importance though. I mean, I love the video, but I never liked the song. But it's like you said, there was a time where there was a house song and a love song on every cat's album. Everybody had one of each.
Yeah. You know, and the sad part is that left. Another point I wanted to bring up and why I wanted to do this is because I want most of the people who follow me on Twitter are younger cats, which still shocks me to this day. But one of the things that I always tell people is that they have to see more positive images of black men who are married, taking care of their kids and things like that. When I was working in Potomac Garden projects in DC, I took T out with me one day, and one of the parents like, "Oh, Mr. Kill, that's your baby mom. She beautiful." I was like, "Nah, that's my wife." She was like, "That's your wife?" I didn't even know what that was. My wife, like, nah, that's not my baby mom's. And, you know, like, it really, you know, kind of stuck out to me. And one of the things, because, you know, some of us have daughters, you know, like I said, one of the most important things I did was taking Nay on a date. And one thing I don't believe in is coincidences. I believe everything happens for a reason. I don't think it's a coincidence that I met any of these brothers up here. You know what I mean? Bezo is the only person I've known since 92. You know, everybody else up here I've met through Twitter. You know what I mean? And I don't find it a coincidence. I believe everything happens for a reason. So I'm going to tell a quick story. I'm taking Nate out for a date, go to the movies, 12:30 show at, you know, I don't know, one of them Disney movies or whatever. The reclining seats, Nate sitting next to me. On this side, it's a white couple, like probably 15 or whatever like that. So the movie starts, you know, it's Ice Age or whatever. Next thing I know, this chick is jerking the dude off. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, yo, it's a kid movie. And she jumps up like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Yeah. Starts jerking him off. And she's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. You know, the worst part about this is that what got me to even look that way was I just kept hearing her say, remember, I'm the one who will do this for you. I'm the one who will do this for you. Wow. Almost to be like, you know, when them other chicks at school want to get with you, just
so I'm the keeper because I'll jerk you off in a movie theater.
Wow.
Selling point? That's the number one selling point, huh? Okay.
So that number one was bad. Number two, which was bad, was she had her younger sister with her. Wow. Who was probably around 10 years old. So the younger sister is sitting here seeing what the older sister is doing.
The same thing. Yes.
Attention. Yep. You know, and again, I don't take this as a coincidence that this happened on the one day, the first day I'm taking my daughter out for a daddy-daughter date. And it just made me realize this is why we have to do this, you know, to show our kids. And one of the things I always tell women, all my homegirls, you have to know your worth. Yeah. You know, and I think that that's what happens with a lot of my teenage girls. They don't have dads around. They don't have positive men around. So the first dude who says, oh, you cute or you got a fat ass, boom, they in love. You know what I mean? And without us being able to do that, you have these girls, you know, that turn into women who are just don't know their worth. You know, so when my homegirl may hit me like, yo, Kill, you know, I'm giving this dude an ultimatum. I'm like, Ma, you worth more than an ultimatum. You should never be going to no dude talking about, if you don't want to marry me, then I'm out. You make that decision.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But don't let it do, because then you gotta do like, all right, I'll marry you. Like, why not? I don't want to lose you.
We ain't get no younger. We might as well do this.
You know, so it's almost like you're devaluing their worth, and it's the same with our sons. We gotta raise our sons to be respectful of women. You know, one of my teams, I can't even really talk about it because it's still cops is in it. He recorded some wild shit that Cash was doing, you know, that shouldn't be getting done, you know, and I dug in his ass for it. Like, dog, I wish I was his pop, because I would have put hands on the boy. But we have a lot of these boys out here that are doing wild things, because as men, we're not teaching our sons how to be respectful. You know, we always teaching our daughters, and it's not like, oh yeah, son, go do whatever, go fuck the world. You know,
didn't Michelle Obama say that recently? That we raise our daughters, but we don't focus on our boys. I believe Michelle Obama said the same kind of thing.
But I mean, that's huge, because that's what we do. But we don't understand, while you saying whatever, son, go fuck whatever, your son is fucking my daughter. You see what I'm saying? So we gotta raise our sons the same way. I always tell people, I was so scared of my dad. If I be getting straight D's and F's with my mom, she sent me go live with my dad, I'm an A/B student. You know what I mean? Because I was so scared of him. If my dad would have said something like, yo, if you got a girlfriend, I don't want no other girls calling this house. If you got a girlfriend, I don't want nobody else in my car. You know what I mean? Now, if you dating, that's cool. But if you saying to this young lady that this is your girlfriend and that's the commitment, then I'm going to hold you to that shit. Because I will be hot and tell on you. So don't get it twisted. Then maybe I would have been shook like, yo, maybe I do need to be committed. But how many men are really telling people that? You know what I mean? Like, how many men are really, you know, urging their sons, you know, to do the right thing? Jace, no, I don't pull no cut cars with my boys. You know what I mean? You ain't getting no, when you in my chair getting a cut, I'm in your ear. One of my kids was like, oh man, yeah, Mr. Kill, I went to church on Sunday. You went to church? He was like, yeah, that's where all the bitches at. I was like, okay, my nigga. I was like, nah. Not gonna happen, bro. Not gonna happen. You know what I mean? So, you know, but I can't be the only man. You know what I mean? I can't be the only man. So it's just a challenge to people out there. Even if you don't have a son, you know some young boys. You got a nephew, you know somebody in church congregation, you got a little young knucklehead on your block. We all know younger men who we can touch and influence. And that's what we got to do. You know what I mean? We want to influence them with the music. We've had numerous conversations about, oh, we need to put them on the Nas and Kendrick and all that. Yeah, well, while y'all listening to Kendrick, also kick some good stuff to them so that they can stop doing this stuff. Because I'm telling y'all, the stuff that I've seen is stupid. I'm talking this is probably 2005. I had my seventh grade girls was doing head parties. Like straight up and down, just like, yo. 6, 7 girls just like, yo, bring all your dudes through. We just giving head all day. And I'm like, what do you mean? So we going back, and like I said, this 2007, 2008. So you can just double down on what they doing now. Like, you know, back in my day in high school in 88, I'd have to kidnap somebody's mother, father, their little brother to even get some chick to give me head. Like that was, and she still may be like, I don't know, nigga, you may have to kill them. But now, I mean, it's nothing. You know what I mean? And we got to teach our kids that, because so many of my girls will come to me like, Mr. Kill, I'm a virgin, I'm good. But now I've learned to have to ask them, you giving head though? You doing this though? Because they doing so many other things just to still be able to say they a virgin, but they still doing all these other things. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's a lot going on. I know my viewers out there, it's a lot to take in, but if more than anything, I want y'all to look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dudes that's up here, you know, who's married, who's got kids. Not saying none of us are perfect. We just trying to do a little bit better than what other people are doing. Like Bezo said, taking the good, making it even better, you know? And I think that that's one of the beautiful things about this, that we can sit here and chop it up about hip hop all night. We can sit here and chop it up about marriage all night too. You know what I mean? So, you know, prayerfully people are walking away with something. Porsha, prayerfully you got something. You got some jewels from your big brothers up here.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you guys. You guys are brilliant.
Nah, thank you. This was all on you.
Your idea.
Yeah, this was your idea for that tweet. As soon as you sent that tweet, I was like, boom, let's do it. This.
Oh, and quiet.
Well, thank you guys Thank you guys for joining in. You guys are so insightful. It's crazy.
Man, more times than not, before we go hot with these mics, we talking about what's going on in our lives anyway.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, true indeed. And again, just to kind of leave on a positive note, but to really get people thinking, I always tell couples that 9 times out of 10 people are getting divorced because they just don't know what to do in their marriage. Like, seriously, out of 10 couples, I would probably say 8 of them could be saved. 2 of them may be gone. But I always give the analogy that, Vern, if you hit me like, yo, Kill, boom, I got tickets to go to Cleveland, see LeBron, let's go. Here's the thing. All I know is 95 North. That's all I know. Me and Vern going to be up and down 95 North all night. We ain't never going to get to Cleveland. And you know what's going to eventually happen? We're going to say, well, fuck it, we tried. And we're going to go back home. And that's what people do in their marriage. They try, you know what I mean? But keep in mind, if we just ask somebody for help, what if we just put it in the GPS, boom, take you straight there? But and a lot of times as Black folk, we don't want to admit anything is wrong. We don't want to say anything is wrong. We don't want to, we got it. And don't even get me started on church folk, because church folk will have you thinking your marriage is the worst because everybody blessed and highly favored. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, no, it's the truth. It's the truth.
That's why I'm laughing.
Again, this is not dissing the church. I said church folk, not Christian. Big difference. That's a whole nother show like Porsha. Like Porsha said about something else with Disney. That's a whole nother show.
Disney, yeah.
But what I'm saying is that when you can, as men, when we can say, hey, brother, I need help. That's how me and Jace met. Jace sent me up on Instagram, was like, yo, bro, you a good influence. I love what you're doing with your podcast. Yo, can we link up? You know what I mean? And that's how me and him got cool. Yesterday, my man Cash hit me like, yo, Kill, man, emergency. I need some advice about my daughter, man. What to do. As men, that's what we got to be able to do. He was thanking me. I'm thanking him. Like, thank you for being able to reach out, for putting that pride aside, and for being able to say, that's what we need. In the men's group I teach in the hood, I always tell men, we got to do the call when we want to play basketball, when we want to make beats, if we get into a beef, if whatever. But do you have a dude who you can call on your phone for some good advice? Mm-hmm. Not for some advice, because you call the wrong dude. They be like, your wife get on your nerves? Come on out. We can hit the strip club. That ain't the advice I need. I said good advice. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if we got to do for everything else, we need people in our life for that. People who we can talk to, people who we can trust that can give us advice. Because most time people come to counseling, people come to me at their last leg. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing, just like with your health. If you go get checked out, you find out, God forbid, you got cancer, prayerfully, we can get up there and save you. But if you wait till your last leg, your leg dragging, and you dead, and you hate her, and you done smacked her and beat her dad up, like, well, I can't do that. I can't do that for you now. Like, y'all stage 4, So we just, and we gonna do some shows about health too, because as men, we don't go to the doctors. I forgot what
Monday.
Said.
Yeah. I hope we don't have on this class ring, but I'm going Monday.
You did, because that's the thing, man.
I just want to address real quick the Porsha talking about the Disney movies. I mean, yeah, you're right. Disney got some wicked, evil shit with them. But one thing like I do with my daughter, and I've done it with all my kids, is before she sees something, I check it out for myself. Now, something in the movie theater, it may not be the case, but I'll go with her. And I tell my daughter, especially now, and even all my kids I did this with, but I let them know, like, look, I can't let you just watch that without me seeing it first, because some of these movies, they put messages in there that are meant to kind of twist your thinking. And when I told this to my daughter, she said back to me, she's like, oh, you mean like commercials, Daddy? Like you were telling me? I said, exactly. Because I told her, like, kids see the commercials and, for some new toy, they go all crazy and off the wall, Daddy. And I'm like, sweetheart, they're trying to program you. They're trying to trick you into believing you need this toy. You don't need it. I said, now think about that. You didn't even know about that toy until you saw that commercial, right? So she got that schooling first. So then as time went on, and she started saying, like, now when she got her little Kindle and she watches stuff on Netflix, she knows. She asked me and her mother, can I watch this? And she's like, no, we have to watch it first. Like, no, I have to see it first. Like, she knows to ask first. Because, like, take, for instance, the movie Frozen. It's like on the surface, it's like, yeah, it's one of these sappy Disney love stories. But it's not a love where the guy rides in on a white horse and saves the damsel in distress. It's a love between two sisters. Is what that movie is all about. So for that, I was like, okay, this is beautiful because she has older siblings. She now has a younger sibling, and she also sees her mother, how close her mother is to her sisters. And here this movie is that she loves, and it's a lot of the times it's the music that they get caught up in. You know what I mean? That's what really draws them in. And like the movie Incredibles, you know, which is one of my favorite animated movies. She sees the girl who's shy and reticent, but has these powers. And then something happens where she now has confidence and she comes out of her shell. You know, so it's like, but I make a point of telling her the lesson to be learned in the movie. And now she's aware to look out for the negative shit. And she can also digest. There is some positive in a lot of these, but you have to extract it. I mean, if you just, too many parents would just turn the TV on and let the TV babysit their child. Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. Right. Only thing I do that with is classical baby. I put my son in front of it. It's animated poetry and stuff where they're playing classical music and somebody's reading a poem. And it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? It's good for their mind and for their eyes and all that other shit. But all them movies, as a parent, you got to do the knowledge first, man. You got to peep it out and be real about it. Like, nah, I can't let you watch that. Like, I won't let her watch Beauty and the Beast.
But the thing is like with Disney, again, if Kill wants to have a show about Disney and its impact on humanity, I'm all for it. I would sit here and talk 6 hours about this.
But it's deeper than Disney. It's deeper than Disney.
But honestly, like, if you think about it, Disney on a psychological level, and that's where my background is, so I always think of things on that kind of in that kind of way. To reverse the effects of what Disney does and embeds in children is that it's problematic. It's so problematic because at a very, very young age, it sets a complete and utter fantasy of what fairy tale, like life in general is. And oftentimes because it's animated and cute and there's songs and all this kind of stuff, parents are like, oh, well, it's G-rated, it's Disney. Of course my kids can watch it. I'll take them to watch it. But you can't really, when a kid's like 4 or 5, you can't sit them down and be like, well, just so you know, men aren't going to always be like that. And women aren't always going to be like that.
But you can.
And so by the time you can, but by the time they get it, the damage has already been done. And that's where, when Kill was saying the expectations, people have, like, I'm not married, but I feel like even I've been in situations where people have been like, well, I'm not even ready to make things official because then expectations come with that. And I'm like, dude, what? Like, okay, like, that's so deep. Like, why are you so deep into that? And it's like, well, no, it's true, because as soon as you slap a title on something, there's all these expectations. It's the same thing. It's the same underlying psychological principle that Disney does. It's the same on a different scale.
I agree.
Hold time. We will do a show about the underlying themes of everything.
Well, I was going to say it's not so much about Disney, but just in general.
I love it.
What I was going to say is when I said it's deeper than Disney, it's like when you go to like the children's place or whatever, or Carter's or whatever. Look at the messages on girls' clothes compared to boys' clothes. Boys are like, astronaut and you can go to the moon, you can be all this and that. Girl stuff is, you can be a princess. You know what I mean? It's like, but you as
that goes into gender roles, and that gets a little bit complicated.
Well, no, but it also reinforces the idea that. But it reinforces the idea that the boy can be anything
and expectations.
But hold tight, because we'll come back for that. We will come back.
Thank you, Kill. Thank you. I need this.
We gonna come back.
It's not just Disney. It's deep.
I feel you. It's not just Disney. It's deeper than rap, like Rick Ross. Everybody stuff out. Vern,
don't think you can't tell a child. Don't think you can't tell a child what's real.
You can tell. I think children are the smartest people in the entire world. I think
and if you tell them, and then they see, if they're smarter, if you give them enough tools, they'll begin to see. I mean, I got into an argument yesterday at the store when I was with my daughter, and she saw some of what I've been teaching her just in this conversation with this woman. So you can't tell us.
We gotta do this.
Hey, Kill, can I end it one more thing that I learned that made all the difference in my marriage? We took a course called Radical Love. And one of the concepts they said is marriage is like a life insurance policy. With a life insurance policy, when I die, my wife gets the benefit of that policy. When she dies, I get the benefit of that policy. If we die to our selfishness, then the other party is going to live and get the benefit of marriage. When I really grasped that concept, it changed our marriage in a magnificent way, man. So, but BE Channel at Instagram and BE Channel at Twitter.
All right, no doubt. Porsha, give them all your stuff.
Cherchez La Porsche, Twitter and Instagram.
All right, Jace, give them all your stuff, good brother.
J Tyler 0801 on IG and at JERKTYLER on Twitter.
All right, no doubt. Rec One.
IG is Worldwide Rec One. Twitter is at DJ Rec One. The podcast episodes are at SoundCloud.com/JRec1.
All right, no doubt. Tone.
Twitter at Enter the Dome. The website enterthedome.com. Check it out.
Dope Red Fox piece, by the way, too. Good brother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no
I got to read that this weekend.
Yeah, I got that Marcus Garvey coming this weekend.
Oh, bro, I need a sneak peek on that.
Yeah, it's about to get real.
All right, no doubt. And Bezo, give them all your stuff, good brother.
I'll just get an Instagram. Twitter at Real Life Thought. The Instagram is private, and I might not confirm you.
Say that Twitter again.
If I don't know you,
at Real Life Thought. Yeah, man, because I was getting too many kids, man, trying to jump on it. Like, nah, I don't need that in my life, man.
Hey, B, what's that Twitter again?
At Real Life Thought.
Okay.
Yeah. Y'all already know what it is with me. Kill 889. We'll make beats for food. Like Vern said, real quick tidbit. One thing I learned, Joyce Myers, from watching her one day, she said, if we wake up every day and we ask, what can we do for our spouse? You know what I mean? You would have a much happier marriage. I know that's a lot to do. I challenge people, just try it once a week. Just what could I do for my spouse today? Well, for this week. You know, maybe it's doing the dishes. Maybe it's taking her out. Maybe it's doing whatever. But like Vern and Bezo said, once you stop being selfish, because marriage is really all about being selfless. It's about being a server. It's like when you go to a restaurant and your waiter's an asshole, you don't give him a good tip. You know what I mean? Like as a husband or wife, you're supposed to be a servant. You're supposed to be, saying, what can we do? All those things, And again, this I don't want this to be the only time that we talk about marriage, because I don't do a lot of podcasts, so I can't sit here and say there aren't. But I don't know any podcasts. I know there's a lot of podcasts with dudes who talk about relationships, but a lot of it is like in an ignorant way.
I got one, man. If y'all can get it, the Casey crew, DJ Envy, Gia Casey, check them out. They got a dope podcast.
That's the dopest one so far, as far as just that.
They get real.
Yeah.
Don't go to Steve Harvey for relationship advice, y'all. Especially y'all ladies. You know what I mean? Don't be listening to these knuckleheads, man, for advice and shit, man.
What's the show you talking about, Jace?
The Casey crew.
DJ Envy and his wife.
DJ Envy and Gia Casey. They got this podcast called The Casey Crew. It's been out for a little over a year. They talk about their history and they give advice. And I mean, it's good. It's good advice, man. And they give you both. You get the husband's perspective, you get the wife's perspective, and they kind of go back and forth with each other on it as well.
All right, I'll check it out before I judge it. I'll check it out because I know if it got caught out there in them streets.
Yeah, and you know what? That's how it started. That's how it started. You gotta watch episode 1.
I know that's how. I know that's how it started. It's like my man Ray Allen said, and he got game. Why all of a sudden they know Jesus when they get caught smoking some coke? But I got you. I'll check it out before I pass judgment on good DJ. And I remember Fat Man scooping his wife at a damn show. So
yeah, with MTV.
I'll check that out before I do that. Kill 889. We'll make beats for food. I'll check y'all next week, man. I appreciate the love, y'all.
Peace.